just up north, isn't it?
It's global warming, it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Talking of global warming, we've been talking about the seawall. Somebody posted something the other week. Somebody may have seen it, saying I got evidence to prove that the sea levels are not rising. And when I asked him what it was, he said that his dad and him had collected, since he was a kid, he collected the tide tables, and he's got them back to something like 1942 or something. And he said the tides on that now are showing exactly the same height as they were then.
Yeah, they probably are.
Yeah.
It's just the land's got lower.
No, what people forget is that the world isn't circular. It's not a complete sphere.
No, I don't.
Here we go, it's flat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's flat. Yeah, I can't tell you that.
It's an obloid spheroid or something like that, isn't it? Oblique.
And depending where you are on the planet, and depending on the water temperature, will raise the levels higher than other areas. So some areas we're going to get considerable rises in sea levels. Others will have a little bit. It won't be the same all around the world.
But we haven't got any according to his things. And I must admit, when I walk down to the front, I can verify that because the water's not coming up any higher, if you know what I mean.
No, but it all depends on the weather, doesn't it? Like if you got a low depression coming in, that's going to push the water down, and it's going to push the water up somewhere else.
No.
Right?
Yeah, no, I mean that. I mean,
southeasterly blowing as well, then it's going to, and you got a high tide, then you're going to get water coming up on a prom, aren't you? And it's going to seem like it's more than 44 footer.
But that's what I'm saying, Con. That's not happening. I've seen it happen a lot in the past, but not over the last 10 years.
All right.
It's almost like we're almost in like a depression, and the seas are not rising up there. I mean, it doesn't come up in the prom for 3 years.
But maybe the Mumbles has got a special dispensation from the weather.
Yeah.
Protege under the Gower AOB or whatever it's called.
So you must remember
watch the weather. Okay, like I do, I watch it a lot. And normally, if you've got a very high tide, like a spring tide or a very high autumn tide, you'll have a high depression in the Atlantic. We almost always have a high depression. And that being the case, the water doesn't rise as much.
No.
If we ever get a big low, and we have a super high tide, that's when we're going to get big trouble.
Mm.
We get
it doesn't happen very rarely.
Remember when the Lifeguard got destroyed? That was a super high tide, and it was a mega low. I think it was a 933 or something like that.
But that happens now, but the huts are not there, so they don't get destroyed. Basically, I mean that's quite
I cannot recall there being a big low on a spring tide or an autumn high tide. It very, very rarely happens.
Well, you were away in university when all this was going on.
Yeah, still news going round, Con.
Yeah, I know.
Come on, you'll all remember, apart from Dave, because he wasn't here, that the water used to come in under the arches in different places. He used to put sand back and everything. Every now and then.
Yeah, and the Brimmill Arch, and Singleton Lane.
Yeah, and Trafalgar Arch as well. So, but it doesn't happen much now. Well, I've never seen it happen, to be honest.
Is that because there's more sand on the beach?
Yeah, there is a lot more sand on the beach.
Yeah. Well, no, there's more sand at the Swansea end, but not at Mumbles end.
Mm.
Oh, right.
Somebody reckons that could be something to do with the not Oyster Wharf, the slip at by Birdies.
No, it's the same. All the sand's gone off. Not say gone off. In Portainen, there's hardly any sand at halfway down the beach, but there's a hell of a lot of sand at the top of the beach.
So isn't that seasonal with the waves?
No, well, it is a bit, but we've had it for quite some time now, and there's more and more of the mud flats and the peat showing that I've never seen since I've been down here for 20 years.
So you've got less sand, and Swansea got
more.
It's
we've got the same amount of sand on the beach, but it's all been shoved up the top end of the beach.
Right.
Is that due to weather or due to the council?
Yeah.
Can I just say, Swansea
Seriously,
Bay,
because on Swansea Beach, I've never seen as much lorries and machinery moving sand as they have in the last 5 years or so.
yeah, constant.
They're constantly digging it out. They've bricked up the arch now, which by County Hall.
Yeah,
They've closed that off. They've altered the level of the sand there tremendously.
well, they put the sand dunes there, haven't they?
Yeah, but they weren't there before.
No.
So
Yeah.
there's a hell of a lot of sand gone there. And places where you had a fair old jump off the prom onto the sand, they now, I don't know, 2 foot from the sand up to the top to the prom. So they've altered the levels of the sand tremendously. As I said the other week about by Bryn Mill Arch, the level of the sand by Bryn Mill Arch is a hell of a lot higher than it used to be. But then it's you know, remember the big concrete pipe that comes onto the Swansea Beach in front of Singleton Park?
Yeah.
Well, that's no more visible now, or no less visible. So the level of the sand there is the same. But in other areas towards town, there's a hell of a lot more sand.
I think it's wind blown, most of it.
Well, some of it may be, but
It's done by Swansea Council, a lot of wind in there.
yeah.
But the
But it's
problem,
like all this. Somebody's making money out of building sea defences, aren't they? Same as somebody made a lot of money making it safe in the millennium because of all the computers that were going to get broken when the clocks went over to 2000.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, nothing happened.
Yeah.
But somebody made a lot of money out of it, didn't they?
There's always some scam going in there.
Yeah, in Swansea Bay, because they put the sand up, well, I don't know if they put it up, every day they bring in about 20 or 30 lorry loads up and just dumping it there. Now it's all blowing over the top because it's so near the top of the wall, the sea wall. So then they take it off then, and they can't put it back on the beach because of contamination. So they're putting them in blue bags and storing it over on the wreck. So there's about 200 big blue bags of it there now. But
why is it contaminated, Mike?
Yeah.
Who said it's contaminated?
Sorry?
Contaminated by what?
Just come off the roads.
Oh, see, the sand they've taken off the road is in bags. They haven't put it back on the beach.
Yeah.
That's fair enough,
But the problem is now they planted also those, I call them weeds, not weeds, reeds.
Brushes.
Yeah, and that's lifting everything up as well now. So if they do have one of those tides you're talking about, Kipper, it used to come up to the sea wall before. And sort of pushed back, not the sea wall, the railway side, and pushed back out. Now, because the sand is right up, I would imagine the chances are it'll just scoot straight over the top of it. And that's why I think they've blocked up the arch, because they've created a trap there almost where the sea level is going to rise up there. So I think
it's going to rise one day.
Well, I think it's going to rise because of the way the beach is.
But if you see, you know, they've actually made it dangerous because there are people now. They've created like sand reefs, sort of in front of where Victoria Park is, where people are on. If they're sitting on the sand, they're not aware of it because the sea comes round them.
Yeah,
and because so they usually get cut off, and they're on a little sand island, and it's pretty deep. So if there's kids,
Yeah,
So
it's
are
about
those-
about 8 foot, isn't it?
Have those sand islands been created by the kind of dredging, moving it around? What's created
Well,
those sand islands, Andrew?
We just surmising that, really. We don't
I
know.
think because they've changed the shape of the beach, possibly the wind has created these sand
If
islands.
they changed the shape of the beach, then it would have changed the currents as well, and it's the currents that make the sand move.
Yeah,
and the wind,
the
of course.
currents and the wind, I think, have created these high spots which get cut off when the tide comes in.
Right.
And then
When you say they've changed the shape of the beach, who do you mean? Who's they?
the council.
Of the council.
council.
What, by dredging it and
Well, they got big diggers and they're moving the sand from one place to another.
Do we know why they're doing it? Has there been any notification as to what they're actually doing?
I think they're trying to keep the sewer outlets clear. Part of it was that. That's where they started.
Yeah, but those sewer outlets are way out, aren't
sewage? What sewage?
Well,
By surface water, isn't it?
the surface water ones and the ones from the river to come out there.
You
So,
know,
not-
when I'm aware of big build-ups, as you say, along by the slip and along past Victoria Park there, and I always used to take that was wind building it up, and then the diggers came in, cleared it all out, and then just put it somewhere else on the beach. But what are you saying about sometimes it's blowing it over on the road, but it's building up on the seaward side of the wall along there. By literally the sea and the wind just pushing the sand that way, is it?
Yeah, but if you walk along the prom in front of Victoria Park, then before the slip bridge, you'll see now they've dug a big trench, or they had anyway.
Right.
So if you look at the beach side of that wall, there's a big trench there, and then where they dug against the wall, so that I'm surmising that they think that when the sand blows, then instead of blowing off the beach over the trench, it goes in the trench.
It's a bit more complicated. I was down there today. We actually walked along there, and if you have a trench seaside of the wall, as the wind blows up the beach, blows round in a circle.
Yeah.
As it hits the wall, it sort of hits the wall and comes back on itself and blows some of the sand seaward, but some of the sand is obviously going over the top. But with that, you get this circle of air blowing around.
Vortex.
Blow it back. That's the word. The vortex.
Yeah. But you've got like where the where can I say now? Where the steps in front of go onto the beach by the marina area then.
Yeah.
On one of the flights of steps for certain, you can't actually get onto the beach down those steps because where the tide has come in, it's taken away the sand and
it's then underneath the foundations.
That water gets cut off, so you end up with this bloody big pool of water at the bottom of the steps, right? And it's pretty deep. So if any kids went down those steps thinking it was going to be, like 6 inches deep, it would be like a Dawn French sketch. They'd step off the last step and disappear.
Yeah. Shouldn't mess with nature, should you? That's the thing.
Correct.
This is the third seawall I've known in my lifetime that they put down there. So they keep getting
along the town end, the sort of the county hall, and along that.
Yeah, well, I'd still like to call it Gregor's, where they used to be.
Yeah.
All that used to be Gregor's, Spontex, and all that, didn't it?
That's it.
Yeah.
It used to be. He didn't have a seawall there at one. Did they originally? It was just sand dunes.
That's
right. There's sand dunes.
Yeah.
There are sand dunes there now. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was
also there's a sea of plastic if you dig down far enough from Spontex.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Michael, I see you've been keeping an eye on the wall, the Mumble stretch.
Yeah.
So is that sort of imminent then? Or have they kind of halfway started or what?
No, next Monday, I believe, or next week sometime.
Explain to me,
So
Mike.
is it a stretch? Is it from the square up to kind of, Antelope?
To Verdes.
That stretch there?
From the dairy car park to Verdes.
Are they still, what was muted some while ago was they were actually going to create a 3 or 4 meter boardwalk going out over.
No,
But it's a solid.
they can't do that because, well, they could do it, but it's too expensive, and they said it wouldn't be safe either with the seas unless it went out.
The sea would be underneath it. Yeah.
But then they said they couldn't do the steps like they got further down because it's a SSI area, which I think is nonsense. So
What's SSI?
Area of Special Scientific.
That's it. Yeah,
Something or other.
scientific interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so they didn't want to do that, so they can't go out and they can't go the other way because they'd lose the car park. And losing car parking spaces, like they collect over £1 million a year from the car parking down there. So they wouldn't want to lose any car parking. They're losing 12 anyway, but they wouldn't want to lose any more. So yeah, it's a bit awkward. And they still got to have this, you like this, Kipper, they still got to have the secondary wall there in case the first one fails. So they can't make it wider. Like the second wall.
How high is it going to go, Mike?
1.3 meters.
So
It's 5 foot.
most people won't be able to see over it then.
No, it's just going to go between 1.1 and 1.3, but I always say the worst case scenario, but 1.1 to 1.3.
Well, I could probably get. I'm 1.55, so I could just put a look over the top of it.
You'd be able to see it. Well, it's not high. It's only about 3-4 foot.
Yeah, but when if they create the
4
wall,
foot, no.
if they create the wall that high, are they going to make the bit on the landward side of the wall higher, a foot or two higher, so that then, like as you said, Rob, well, you've only got 3 foot to look over, as opposed to
the seaside. It'll be about 4 foot. Yeah, is that about 1.1 meters? Is that about
4 foot higher than the existing prom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's if you go down to the West Cross area, they got it there. Yeah, with the top rock that's got the curvature on it. They're supposed to baffle the sea and send it back out to sea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but from the prom side, that wall is not even 3 foot. Same as Iceman Square. The wall is about. Yeah.
The one on the seaside will be bigger than that. It'll be 1.1 meter. What happens? The seawall dips in the middle. The promenade dips about 3 foot apparently.
Along its length.
Yeah.
Well, between Blackbill and Norton and Mumble.
Yeah, so they can't bring it all up because then otherwise on this side you'll have a big sort of step almost. So they're going to bring it up a certain amount, and then instead of putting a wall, they're going to build a hump of earth going along like where the kids' car playground is along there. So that's going to be like a big earth mound on that area because they're trying to level all that and keep it to about 1.1, 1.3 meters, the wall. But they still going to have the secondary wall. That's what the hump is. The hump is going to be about 4 foot high. So, and that's to stop any water that goes over the first seawall in 2082 or whatever it is, and onto the Mumbles Road.
So what you call it the secondary wall, so that's the nice stone wall about just under 3 foot, which runs from the Bistro Pierre section down to adjacent to the bowling green. Yeah. That is there. So they're going to fill in the other side of that, are they? And make that like land, a hump.
Yeah, they're going to take that away where the kids' car park is, a kids' playground is, and along those sort of gardens at is it South End Gardens there?
Yeah.
So they'll have a grassy knoll. Yeah.
Grassy knoll.
They love grassy knolls, don't they?
Oh, so it goes up and down. So where the park is, that would be the
Yeah.
same height.
No, the park will be there. You have the grassy knoll, and then you'll be back.
That's what I
on.
mean. The park will be
Yeah.
the same height as it is now. It's just there'll be a bit of a grassy knoll.
Yeah, it'll be about 8 inches higher or something to level it off. But that will all butt up square. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
They've got to raise the promenade there, see, by about a foot, graduated to about where the car park is further along.
Yeah.
So to do that, if they thought they didn't fill up with earth, and then they'll have a hump going over, and that'll all look nice.
You know,
But
you
the
know,
other thing-
when we get these high tides, predicted, or they're written in stone, aren't they? So every time there's a high tide coming up along Southend, there are the little gaps in the wall that they drop these wooden sleeper things in the metal slots, like,
Yeah.
and they're all numbered. Well, along by the George, there was right opposite the George. There's a gap there, and I noticed the other day it had its sleepers in. And then there was another bit further along opposite what used to be the Conservative Club, the new flats. There was a thing in there.
Yeah.
But then when you came to a little bit in between the George, and there were fishermen there, and there was a small walkway bit, but then a wide bit, which is the exit from the car park if you park there. There were no sleepers in there at all. So I felt like saying to the fishermen, "Well, have they asked you to drop them in when the tide comes in?" Then
No, there aren't any there because that's the high point. So that's about I think it's 2 foot higher than the rest of the seawall. So the
6 foot further along.
it dips down like that, then rises up by the George.
Yeah, but right opposite the George, there's a gap, and adage things dropped in there, and the bit then where you go to the left opposite the George,
and it's about 15 foot further on, isn't it?
Yeah, same height.
But apparently that's where there's a hill there.
Huh?
So I've never really noticed it, but they did all their, what do they call, Kipper?
Survey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they?
Theodolite, is it?
Yeah.
Risk assessment.
Theodolite. No, I always get it wrong. It's always a clue in crosswords. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know what I obviously think. I think it's just a matter of spending money that they got, sort of thing. They could be given 12 million by the Welsh government. They're just going to do it.
Boys, I could see the 20 million, and then it got sort of highlighted Morpher and everything. A couple of people I know had posted stuff sort of saying, and I'm thinking, yeah, I know a couple of people who are involved with the Morpher development, and it great for heritage and all that business. But they said sort of 20 million would go a long way to saving the city centre. What is the cuteness of Morpher going to give to your average Swansea citizen?
But 10 years ago, they knocked most of it down.
Yeah.
I found this behind a chair when I was clearing up today in the thing, Con. I don't know if you can see it.
A plectrum, an Ernie Ball plectrum.
Yeah, is it a good one?
Is it Ernie Ball or is it turtle?
Turtle, I think it says.
All right, yeah. I don't know what thickness is it? 73, 60, 43.
Can't see. Do you see on there? Oh.
I can't see any. Hang on. 60. That's a thick one.
Okay.
Great if you want to do flat picking.
I'm sure I put that to some good use.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Bang, bang, bang.
You can play a Jews up with it.
Yeah. I've been doing some painting. It was sort of down there by the skirting.
Yeah.
I can't use them. I've tried using them. I just can't use them.
You're not practicing anymore, Mike?
I've been practicing, but I never use plectrums.
All right.
I just can't. When I use a plectrum, I can just hear it go dunk, 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 dunk down the strings.
These ones. Don't know if you can see this. The Dunlop. It's only like 73 thickness. Really flexible ones,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So what's,
magic, magic.
what,
Plectrum.
I know they're thicker, but what difference does it make when you play it?
Well, it doesn't catch so much. The thick one, I always find catches it. But if you play precisely, then you have to have a thicker one. Like lead guitarist, my guitarist uses a plectrum. It's like a plank of wood, you know. It's thick, so I couldn't use it. But I'm a rhythm guitarist, so I need a bit more flow. So the plectrum's a little bit lighter. So they don't catch.
I don't know what category I'd come into. Probably, is there a crap category?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I come into.
It's almost crap, and just a little bit not so crap.
Oh no, I wouldn't be that good.
No, I'm sure you're right.
I reckon about one out of every three things somebody would recognise.
Well, that's not crap. If you can make someone recognize a song already, that's more than just not crap, you know. That's almost it's almost out of the crap category.
Well, it is, yeah. I mean, if anybody wants me to play Happy Birthday or Little Donkey, I'm the man for you.
Well, bloody hell, man, you're getting on there, man. You know, you getting on there. Like you get up to Ed Sheeran getting soon, you know.
I'm on to French songs next, Con.
Oh la la.
Yeah.
Oh, you can play really like that, Mike, because no one will recognise any of it.
No, they will. It's Frere Jaques is my next one.
Oh yeah, well there we are. Yeah, we all know
blues, Frere Jaques blues. It's fucking easy.
Do you know what? I've got no idea what that means.
Frere Jaques? Frere Jaques, brother Jack.
Oh, all right, okay.
Are you sleeping? Frere Jaques, brother Jack, Frere, brother, Jack, Jacques is the brother, so he's a. Are you sleeping? Dormez-vous? Sonnez le matin. Sonnez le matin. Ring the morning.
Solo tenor. What's it?
Ring in the morning. Ding dang dong. Time. In other words, get up, you lazy bastard.
Ring in the morning. I'm a lazy bastard.
Yeah. Get up, you lazy bastard. You know, Frere Jaques, dormez-vous.
The last bit sounds a bit Chinese, to be honest, Con.
Sonnez le matin.
No, ding dang dong.
Ding dang dong.
Like the guy that works in the Chinese shop.
Home.
You got to remember the biscuit. Ding dang dong. Yeah. Oh, well, then I've learned something tonight, then.
You certainly have.
I don't know if anybody else has, but I never knew.
Yeah, that's new to me.
Where are you learning guitar then, Mike?
Why?
Where?
Oh, it's on the internet.
All right.
A friend of mine was. I used to play football with. He's from Sunderland, and he moved back to Sunderland from London, and he used to be a guitar teacher in schools, but he gave that up and was doing a bit of gigs around sort of clubs and pubs, and he does a bit of coaching in between, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's only 10 quid an hour or half an hour, so I thought, well. At the time, it was COVID. I thought, I'll keep him gainfully employed and also teach, hopefully teach myself something. But I should have gone for the mouth organ, because the mouth organ, I'm sure, is easy.
Yeah.
At least I can play the old grey whistle test with the mouth organ. That's what I can play.
That's cool. That's good.
Yeah, that's good, huh? And what was
that's just in and out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing that everybody learned. Well, you must have done that when we were just at school.
Yeah.
That was the only sort of decent music program on, wasn't it? Well, unless you wanted Top of the Pops and Grandad and Knock Three Times.
Yeah, wonderful.
What instrument do you play, Andrew?
Tie a yellow ribbon round the tree.
What instrument do you play, Andrew?
Oh, nothing. Not very musical. Not for the one to try in, or not for the one to buy in.
There's guitars on your wall behind you.
You are?
I've
Yeah,
seen
you
a guitar on the
guitar.
wall.
Yeah, that's up in the attic now.
Is it?
It was just gathering dust.
Are you a pseudo musician?
You've got to be prepared to put up with a lot of pain to learn to play the guitar, and I'm not very good with pain.
Yeah, and you can all laugh at this. I quite like singing. I'm quite happy to put karaoke on and sing along to that. I quite enjoy that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, particularly the old songs. I mean, I like the old songs. So I can remember the words of them.
I love a sing along if I'm on my own, perhaps. But anyway, our backup conversation is kicking off up in Scotland, isn't it?
Which one's that?
About the transgender people.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I haven't got time for it. You know what I mean? I'm just sick to death of it all.
But have you seen what's happening though?
No.
That bloke was this all kicked off about. He was a bloke who was basically a sexual predator.
Yeah, he raped 2 women, didn't he?
Yeah, being found guilty.
Yeah.
But then in between him being found guilty and them sentencing him, he decided to transgender.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you hear what his wife said?
And he's kicking up shit now because they want to put him in a bloke's prison, but he wants to go in a woman's prison.
Yeah. Well,
and now
his wife was on the radio, it was, and she was talking about him. She said, when I heard about it, she said, I fell off my chair laughing.
Yeah. Yeah, but it says now that there's a news bulletin just come out now that they've stopped transferring all these transgender people. So there's women that want to be blokes and there's blokes that want to be women. So they were in the process of moving them from male prisons to female prisons and female prisons to male prisons. And now they've put a big halt on it until they do an urgent review of all these transgender people.
Yeah, what did this? Someone on the news said that if you've got male genitalia, you cannot be put into a woman's prison. End of.
Yeah.
Or end off. Depends what you look at it.
Yeah.
As I've always said, sit down, woman, stand up, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't, you can call yourself what you like. If you've got a pair of balls and a knob, you're a man. And if you haven't, you're a woman.
Yeah.
What about somebody who's neither then?
Or both.
Yeah.
That would be an issue. There are people with both.
Yeah.
Who were born with both.
Neither, aren't they?
And some with neither, but they are very, very, very few.
Well, it's even easier then. Because you just tell them to go and fuck themselves.
Well, if they haven't got any equipment to do it, they can't do anything, can they?
Well, I mean, if they got both.
Yeah.
But Biscuit, you got our balls to do that.
Yeah.
It's very complicated, isn't it?
What is that? LBGTQ plus now, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's before they add on something else.
Do you know what? I feel really sort of sorry for kids. It must be so confusing now for a kid growing up. You know, when they're at that age about, what male, female, what
the thing is,
people are.
if you can imagine, there's a lot of kids, 10, 11, 12 years of age, not sure about their sexuality, like a lot of kids would have been, but because if you're a bloke, you'll end up with a bloke and you'll end up going that way anyway. But when you're sort of people saying, "Oh, it could be this, it could be that, you can do this if you want to, it doesn't matter, anything goes these days." I think the kids are gonna get really confused.
Yeah.
And there is, and I'll be slated for this if I say that loud, but I will. There's a lot of children who have been brought up with lesbians who think that they're lesbians as well, whether they're male or female.
Yeah.
That's how they've been brought up.
Yeah.
They think that's.
Yeah.
I know there's no norm, but they think that is a norm.
But that's the problem when kids don't know when the norm is everything.
Yeah.
Then you can just choose whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
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 I think kids are going to get really, really confused.
Well, this is it. You've got these people now that they're having children, and they want the the part in the birth certificate where it says if they're male or female to be left blank for them to decide when they're 16.
Oh,
But that's the right way. It should be like
Vegas
religion.
Billy.
But that's the
Religion, you
situation,
shouldn't have
isn't it?
shut
You know,
down your
and
throat.
it's not like I had a guy working in the house yesterday, and he was saying the amount of people that are on sick leave, because once you mention mental health in work now, take a week off,
Protected, aren't you?
and they're all hobbling like mad. So there's a big shortage. They can't plan for work because there's a shortage of staff because so many people are on the sick, and people are hobbling like mad.
Yeah. Doubling the wage.
Yeah. So I don't know where this is going to end. It's this crazy situation.
We're all doomed.
It must be difficult for people who just work for cash now, though. Or if they,
It's almost impossible, isn't it?
sorry?
It's almost impossible.
Yeah, well, there's still a lot of people who work for cash.
I know. I don't know how they do it. You know.
No. Because they even catch you when you spend it.
Well, the thing is, you know, at the moment, if you're a business and you're VAT registered, you literally have to link your bank account now to HRMC. So they're going to know how much money goes in and out.
Yeah.
And if you're self-employed, that's the next step. Will be if you're self-employed, we'll have a look at your bank statements. How come you've got a car outside the front door and you haven't got enough money going through your bank account?
Mm.
You know, that would be the actual end of all cash jobs then. You might get the odd one, but people won't be working full-time for cash. It just won't be possible.
There won't be cash around much longer, will there?
Well, no. We've got less than a minute left again, boys.
When was the last time you had some money change in your pocket?
Well, it's
Carry a couple of quid, but it's, you know, you don't go to spend money in cash, right? You?
Well, I took some out today, first time for ages, because I keep going for a coffee. And I normally leave 50p or a pound or something for the waitresses. And for the last 4 weeks, I haven't done any money. So I made sure I took something out today.
Yeah.
And when I looked in my pocket, it was 50p. So that's what
in our club now, the card that lets you into the club, you can load with cash. So you stick cash on your card and you don't need any money then. You just pay for everything with your card.
Here.
Right. I'll see you all again next week, boys. You're going to go off in a second, so have a good week.